Hello, and welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the segment that I'm going to be calling Retrograde Review. So this is just going to go over like this last retrograde period that we had, which ended on June 3rd. Right now, we're in the shadow period, which is like a week or two before the start of retrograde, but also like a week, not a week or two, I'm sorry, a week before the start of retrograde, but also a week at the end of retrograde. That's like a little bit of a stagnant energy as the energy shifts out of Mercury retrograde. So that's the period that we're in right now. So I just wanted to kind of take the time to really talk about what happened or what you might have experienced during this past retrograde and what you're experiencing now. So this past retrograde was in Taurus and also the sign of Gemini. And these two signs are kind of like matched up in a way during retrograde period where with retrograding in Taurus, it's a real like focus on like finances. It's a real opportunity to get your bills together, to not overspend, to institute a type of budget, to review bills that you might have forgotten that you hadn't paid, basically to catch up on your finances. But also catching up on rest. I feel like the energy surrounding this period was a really lazy type of energy, like not having the ability to really do things, not having that type of energy period to like put into anything, right? So there was like a really lazy vibe going on with the Taurus portion of the retrograde period. And then as we kind of like move back into the Gemini period, it's also the opportunity to really focus on like the communications that you've had, catching up on old emails, cleaning out your inboxes, maybe responding to people that you forgot to respond to. But definitely also, with retrograde, we always have people that tend to come back into our spaces. Like they come back into our orbit because, as we know, retrograde is the opportunity to kind of revisit old situations and to kind of manage the way that you handled them the first time. So like if you are not proud of the way that you handled a situation the first time around and it brings itself back to you during the retrograde period, it's an opportunity for you to revise or redo the way that you handled it and handle it in a better way, right? But it's also an opportunity to kind of like mend certain communications that you might have had in the past. And so what retrograde does is it really gives us the opportunity to kind of like revisit, realign ourselves, recommit to something, and kind of like refocus your energy. So retrograde is a weird time because it really like kind of slows you down, but it's actually a gift. Like it's the opportunity to reset yourself physically and mentally, especially this period. Like I feel like sleepy this period, right? Just not being able to really complete anything or not being able to really do anything, just a really low energetic vibe. And so now moving out of that period, like we moved out of that and then we moved straight into Mars and Aries, which is a very energy driven it's energy driven. Like that energy is, wanting to just kind of like move forward, right? And with the crashing of like Taurus, in Mercury retrograde, and also with Aries and Gemini, it feels like you're being dragged. Like you have excitement for something, you have the energy, you definitely have the willpower to get through something and to do something, but it's like your body is not there. Like the mind is willing, the thoughts are there, but your body itself is not physically ready to do that labor. And I feel like it is the universe's way of telling us how much we really need to rest, right? So we kind of take for granted these physical bodies that we're in. We put a lot of stress on them every day. And so this retrograde period was really a opportunity to kind of like rest, right? Whether it be spiritually, taking like a spiritual maintenance break, or physically resting yourself. There is a lot of like heaviness attached to Taurus sometimes. So right now is a good time to like do like a cleanse, like a physical cleanse of your body, to kind of like lighten your body, especially if you felt like you were overeating during this period. You might have like started to lose weight but gained some weight back, and so now it's like we're moving into the action period. So all of the things that we conceived of and the things that we rejiggered in our minds during Mercury retrograde is now coming to the point where now we can kind of like move forward, and it feels like a real, I don't want to say zesty, but it feels like a very like energetic type of energy where it's like, that you sat down during this period and you really rethought some things, and things that you might have stopped doing that you want to continue doing, you feel like you're ready and back in that space to restart. So it's going to be a lot of restart energy, but I also feel like it's a lot of refocusing the energy, right? So with Gemini, there's a tendency to be doing dual things, like more than one thing at one time. And it's great because it just means that you have a lot of ideas and thoughts that you want to kind of like bring to fruition. You're interested in a lot of different things. You're always seeking this knowledge. You're always trying to learn more, more and different things. And that's great. But the damage to that, or the issue with that, could be that because you are so fractured in the different things that you want to do, you really just don't have the opportunity to focus on that one thing and build it out to the very end. So like, instead of skidding from one project to the next, I feel like this period really gave you the opportunity to be like, okay, this is what I want to focus on. This is where I want to put my energy. And honestly, it feels like this is like you're in the space where you're ready to mind your own business. Like you are ready to pay attention to the work that you need to do to bring your ideas out into the forefront. And I feel like that energy is so strong right now, right? So it's a good energy. I feel like it's good. I feel like we are ready to kind of like move forward and get out of like this lazy energy, and the energetic field is kind of like, getting a little bit of a zap right now, which is really good. So the things that I found that I learned during this retrograde period was I had this dream, right? And I'm going to tell it to you because it really factors into this whole situation for this month. The dream was I was in a boat, right, in the middle of the ocean, a dinghy, like the waves were crazy, and it's a possibility that I'm not going to make it. Like, I'm not going to make it. I'm in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the ocean, in this boat that is just not going to survive the storm. And out of nowhere comes another boat with an older gentleman, an older man on it. He was kind of like offering his hand to me to help me onto his boat because his boat was bigger and it could withstand the storm. And in my, I don't even know what to call it. Like, it's not, I don't even know what to call it. The feeling in the dream was that despite the situation and despite the potential for me not to live or not to survive, I'm really trying to turn this man's hand down. I'm really on some, my pride is just too much to accept this help, which is crazy. So the moral of that dream to me is like, you should never be too proud to accept the help that you need. If someone offers you help, particularly if it's like an older gentleman, it's like a fatherly type masculine energy. If of a person offers you their help and you need help, don't not take the help because of your pride. Like, don't let your pride or your ego or whatever the hell you want to call it block you from the help that you're actually asking for, right? Or the help that you actually need. So that was one of the lessons that I kind of like came out with during this month. Also, my dreams have been crazy during this period. Like, I'm having a lot of dreams, a lot of vivid dreams, and like I'm remembering them, right? And I love my dreams because over the years, I've realized that things that I've dreamt about have actually come true. And it's so weird when you go back and you look at the dreams that you've written out, like what your impression was of it at the time and how it plays out. I mean, spirit really speaks. So on a side note, write your dreams down. Anyway, the second lesson that I got during this retrograde period was that I need to love myself. Like, I think what happens a lot is that when we're in relationships with other people and there's other people around us that we deal with, I feel like we give more of our energy and good vibes to other people more than we do to ourselves. So we are always on a rush. We're always on a go. We're always zipping here. Got to do this for this person. Got to do that for that person. And it's really like a time for you to take care of yourself and like really love on yourself like you love on everybody else. Like you deserve that for yourself, right? So I feel like that was a message that came through for me. The last thing that came up is develop your ideas. You are getting a lot of good ideas. You might have already had ideas that you started in the past and then kind of like let it fall to the wayside because you got bored and you moved on to something else. But when you take an idea that you've had, it's like a seed and you plant it and you take care of that plant and it grows and it bears fruit. It's a beautiful process to watch, right? And I feel like you need to institute some discipline into the processes that need to happen to make your dreams and the ideas that you have come and bear fruit and become like, become visual in like the tangible world, right? So they're in, they're tangible things and not just ideas and thoughts. Like you literally brought that idea and thought into the world and you created it and you build it from the ground up. There's a discipline that's needed for that. And I feel like that should be the focus right now, especially when we have like all this energy, dragging us out of retrograde period right now. Like, I feel like it is what needs to happen. So really take the time to develop your ideas. If you feel like you have more than one idea, then you need to focus your energy on one idea until you have built that out to its completion. Come back and start the other one and then do the same, right? So I feel like that really came through heavy this month, right? So that was pretty much it. I'm going to be doing the readings for this month, and I'll be posting those this week. Thank you so much for listening. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for post notifications. Share your comments down below and let me know how this retrograde period handled you. Like, did it kick your ass? I know that it kicked my ass. I'm still kind of coming out of it, and starting to refocus my energy into things that I kind of was kind of not feeling, but really thinking about different ways to make things better and to bring different types of content and to actually step into like the creative process of it, because I feel like I was kind of like a little bit with it and I wanted to do things a little bit differently. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to keep going until it looks like what I want it to look like. Okay. And so that's that. Thank you again for being here, for listening. I really appreciate you. And I'll be posting monthly readings soon. Thank you. Bye.